Welcome to PAATH History YouTube channel. Subscribe our channel for regular notification and follow our official Facebook page. Today we are going to discuss about artistic representation at Harappan culture. The Harappan culture and symbolic world was peopled by animals, often untamed ones. Bones of wild animals occur at town sites, and numerous clay representations have also been found. So also, the best glyptic art or carving on stone sills represents animals. For a glimpse of Harappan artistic expression, we thus begin with representations of nature, animals in particular. Some pottery decorations depicts foliage or the strutting peacock or a horned deer. Carvings of animals in intaglios or reverse relief on the steatite sills are often superbly executed. The tiger, elephant, rhinoceros on sills and of clay figures, bull on sills and of terracotta figures are the most vividly rendered animals. Three-dimensional representation is in clay and faience, and to a far lesser extent on stone and bronze. We may also note that, with the exception of few sills mainly from Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan and Harappa, and a few painted pots, artistic representation is overwhelmingly of single subjects, persons or animals or birds, rather than scenes or narrative. Animal figurines are often of rough workmanship and careless on detail, like the length of an animal's tail. Many are made of clay and faience. Ram and squirrels are frequently made of faience and are small enough to be worn as amulets. The rough hide of a rhinoceros is depicted in a somewhat naive manner with appliqued and pitted porches over withers and hindquarters. Bulls are the most common animal figurines, but are not always well made. Often it is the species without the hump that is depicted. Note the garlands around the neck of the bull illustrated here and more clearly on the sills. The terracotta model of a seated ram from Lothal compares favorably with figures from Mohenjo-daro. Although the fleece is not depicted, the horns are well modeled. Strangely, there is no cow and no figurine of the domestic cat. A viewer may have noticed that some of the terracotta work has childlike air, while one would hesitate to call it children's work, for then we would have to identify an adequate number of instances of contrasting adult work, such as the bull we have illustrated before, to sustain our argument. It could be suggested that some of these were toys. The problem again would be to distinguish toys from art. If such a distinction is at all valid for proto-historic times, or else we would have to conclude that all clay modeling was for, though not by, children. Another alternative is to label this category of representational work folk art, which is somewhat condescending but at least separates the terracottas made by the rolling, painting and hand modeling of an easily available substance from products of skilled artisan artists such as sills and stone and bronze statuary for which special tools and costly materials were used. In bronze is a buffalo about 7 centimeters long on display at the National Museum, Delhi, remarkably vivid in spite of its small size. It was found in the Mohenjo-daro citadel. Consider also the bronze goat from Mohenjo-daro on a long tongue or projection with twisted horns. Both are miniatures and yet do justice to the personalities of the respective animals. The rendering of people in clay is also largely popular or folk work. The headdresses in our illustrations are so schematic that we cannot imagine what they were made of. Facial features, hair, ornaments, and parts of the body are appliqued, small bits of clay applied to the main body, and are mostly out of proportion. A bearded male is in its turn quite crude, and one can find some bawdiness in the rendering. A great contrast is provided by the stone portraits of men which, although they are not of imposing size, are static and formal and often in a particular seated posture. The formality of the priest-king bust is marked in the carving of the mouth, ears, and beard. Moreover, the trefoil pattern on the robe and the ornament on the forehead probably took an inlay or pigment, and the small drilled holes under the ears were perhaps meant to take a detachable headdress, in which case the bust would have been gaudy with far less charm than the slim nude dancing girl in bronze. The dancing girl, together with about a dozen animal figurines, is small and cast in lost wax. This is a technique in which the desired form is modeled in clay and then coated with wax. It is then covered with an outer layer of clay with one or more apertures piercing it. Molten bronze is poured through the latter and the wax evaporates, allowing the bronze to coat the clay core. The outer layer of clay is finally broken and discarded. The dancing girl must have been part of a larger object. The limbs are disproportionately long, and the left hand curls to make a large cavity in which a pole or rod could have been inserted. Her thick and long hair is aesthetically coiled into a bun at the back of the neck. The figure is nude, but as many have pointed out, the piece is innocent rather than erotic. Consider especially the gentle curve of the back and the buttocks in the rear view. A very similar piece from Mohenjo-daro, also small and corroded, also shows a girl and now is preserved at Karachi Museum. Here it is the right hand which would have held something, and the left is loaded with bangles. Due to his ramrod stiffness and straight body, however, it does not have the charm of the first piece. A tongue below indicates that the figure was fitted into some object. Someone may like to refer to these second bronze as the ugly sister. The dancing girl, incidentally, was found by a fireplace in a ruined house in the southern sector of Mohenjo-daro, together with a small bronze elephant figurine and 2 or 3 large pieces of unworked copper or bronze, one of them an ingot weighing about 1 kilogram. So, from archaeological finds, it appears that the people of the Indus Valley were conscious of fashion. The artists and craftsmen of the Indus Valley were extremely skilled in a variety of crafts. We shall discuss about the seals and religious beliefs in different lectures. So this is the end of our today's discussion. Subscribe our channel for regular notification and follow our official Facebook page. For more information, feel free to write us. For details, see the description.